Hello, my dears. I hope you're having beautiful days today. Today we are having a tougher talk than normal. We're talking about healing the father wound and just I've been talking about doing this video and letting this download and this channel come through since before Father's Day. I know. But it's gross stuff, and sometimes my human doesn't want to have those talks and doesn't want to say the harsh things to you, because I got to go back and watch these myself. I am also a light worker and a healer and all the different things, just like you, but I'm also a human, just like you. So my human experiences these vibrations, and although my soul and consciousness came in to give these messages, sometimes my human being is having a tough day and doesn't want to listen to them. So it can be very interesting. And, I'm going to preface this video with a few different things. First of all, hi, I'm Sarah. I am a healer, a spiritual counselor, light worker, starseed, and your alien friend, whatever you would like to call me. I am a consciousness that is from a different time and space that came to this planet during the time of the awakening to help find and train the new leadership team for the new earth. And so for so many of us, we are unpacking so many traumas. Lifetimes over, we're doing healing. We're processing so much within a day, doing more in the astral world, in the dream world. I'm sure you're waking up with wild and crazy and sometimes pretty grotesque dreams. Really grotesque dreams. And if you are here with me, you might be the first person in your whole family to do this work or to even have this language. And I would definitely, if the awakened world and the ascension and the spirituality is not your language, or if understanding what is the collective consciousness is not yet your language, I would highly recommend, I'm going to put the link below I did a video on what exactly is the collective consciousness, and I've done a video about the mother wound already. So I'll put the links for both of those videos in the description. I'd highly recommend watching both of those before you watch this one. And this is definitely a heavier video. I'll give a full disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I do not have letters after my last name. This is an offering of information that I receive from my guides. I channel for the collective and offer tools of awakening and leadership and spirituality to set a healthy foundation for yourself so you feel safe out there in the world, in this unknown world that we're creating with our collective consciousness. So the mother and father wounds are pretty gross. They're pretty gross. And so I would just love for you to pause this video, not get a journal, but really check in with yourself and take a deep cleansing breath and see if you're in a good headspace to receive, more of an intense download, more of an intense channel. So this is Madame Esma. I'll give you a moment to pause the video and if today's not the day, just save it for later and come back to me, and we'll sit down, we'll have coffee and tea, and we'll talk about it later. But definitely check in with yourself before we get started. So I'll give you a minute. Is where you pause. Okay. So welcome. So we're talking about the father wound. And, when we were young children, our parents were archetypes as well as superheroes, and they kind of transcended the realities of human beings in our eyes. And regardless of what human age you are, if you're here with me, you're probably one of the first light workers in your family, or your spiritual ones, or different ones, or, when you really look at your stuff and speak from I statements, that can be very difficult to be around family members that just knew you as the kiddo or knew you as like, oh, remember when you were going through your shitty phase? And you're like, yeah, my spiritual awakening. They're like, yeah, you were such a fucking mess. And I'm like, I'm really badass now, but I can't convince you of that. You know, and for the mother wound, it was a Malcolm in the Middle quote, where I think it was Malcolm just being like, why won't you ever look at me as like the young man that I am? And the mother was like, because I shot you out of my vagina. And you will always be that kid. And when it comes to the father wound, you know, when you step into your light and you step into your awakening and your truth and your authenticity, things just happen so quickly. You find your abundances, you find your soul tribe, you find your, you know, spiritual life partner, husband, wife that you're meant to be with, and you're overjoyed. And even when the world is on fire, because sometimes it might seem like it is, you're literally skipping down Main Street and you couldn't really care less. We really get to choose our own realities right now. If you saw a sign, you're walking, skipping down Main Street, you saw a sign that says, really shitty thing, take this left. You can see the sign, just be like, okay, I see you. I'm probably not going to go down that road. I'm going to keep on walking. But, you know, in the world, in the 3D world, it just seems like there's fucking lions and tigers and bears wherever you go. Wherever you go. But when you become the most authentic version of yourself, you step into your divinity, but you step into your adult divinity. You just take responsibility for your life. And you speak from I statements, you're in control of your thoughts, words, and actions. You know that this reptilian brain is going to think whatever it's going to think, but remember, you are not your first thought, you are your second thought and first action. That's not my quote, I forget where that came from. And you learn how to control your emotions as an adult. You can see yourself getting triggered, you can see yourself getting frustrated, but you don't ever take it out on anyone around you, and you don't take it out on yourself. You transmute it, transcend it, and then channel, direct that anger into something that is physically healthy for you. Whether it be exercise, you know, like any sort of physical exertion that feels so good. Like anger is such a powerful tool. I've done many, many talks on anger. And it's fascinating to me that, you know, this again was not my words, but I loved this phrasing where it's like one of the coolest, like most impressive things that the male race, or the controlled, unhealed male race did, the patriarchy for lack of a better term, did was take anger and rebrand it. It's not an emotion. It's not an emotion. I'm an angry motherfucker. Oh, you're one of the most emotional motherfuckers there are. When you see someone just like lashing out irrationally at the people around them, they are in roaring pain. Absolute roaring pain. And so when you come into your awakening, you have to deal with those seeds of anger. You have to deal with those seeds of, did my father teach me how to control my anger? Or was my father so passive that he did not ever express his anger? Either way, that foundation of knowing can anger you. You've every right to be pissed off about that. Because I was given this seed of anger. You know, for divine masculine, that's an incredible tool. It goes down in the men and goes through their line. Anger as an emotion, as a powerful, like, the divine masculine is meant to be out there in the world, asserting. Like, everything Mars-based. That is the way of the man, the protector. And you have to have that level of courage to protect your home, your woman, your flock, your family, your team, your tribe, your community. There has to be a level of control, but also that light switch inside of yourself that you can turn on, like the lion, and only stand up when actually threatened. Only stand up when actually threatened. And so Everyone is given this tool of anger. It's an offering, just like anything else. And so if you have that seed inside of you, and, maybe you have a father, or maybe this, the father with a capital F, just like the mother talk that I did was mother with a capital M. This is the archetypal, what we're healing. Because even if you have a father that's as passive as can be, you've put him on a pedestal like a Santa Claus being, like the emperor. And he can do no wrong. I have on my YouTube channel a video called When the Cape Gets Ripped Off. And when a person that you've idealized and looked up to, and this isn't just parental, you see them as human. So there must be a moment that you can think of where the cape got ripped off your own father, where you saw them emasculated, you saw them not stand up for themselves, or you saw them irrationally angry. It's literally the same thing. Either they are not dealing with their own mother wounds, or they have their own father wounds that they're not dealing with. It's the same thing. So when the cape gets ripped off of the father, you're looking at this person. You're looking at this person that did the best they could with the tools that they were given. And you have to remember that they were not given the space to feel their feelings. They were not given the space to process their emotions or to label them or to understand them. And now that seed is left with you. And so it must feel very gross. I'm going to divide now and talk. If you, my dear, who's here at the table with me, is listening, is a divine masculine or a divine feminine. And this is regardless of what physical body parts you have, but divine masculine, you will know if you, we all have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. But for example, I am a very divine feminine. So my work is to nurture and nourish the divine masculine within myself. Because my human avatar has this wound. I've been avoiding this video. Just saying. This is not easy stuff. So for the divine masculine, we'll start there. And you come into your awakening and you see your father and you notice that he is passive as fuck. Doesn't get rattled, doesn't get shook up. It's just like, yeah. So your mother's screaming and yelling, just, yeah, let her. Oh, she threw a pot and a pan at your face? You probably deserved it. He is still dealing with his own mother wound. He was not allowed to express himself. Somebody stunted him at a very young age. And he became a little bit and, stayed on the merry-go-round of got married, had a bunch of kids, go to work, pay for the bills, take care of the kiddos, go on one vacation a year for maybe a week, and do the whole thing again. And I'm just doing what I was told to do, and I'm going to keep doing what I was told to do until I die. That little guy never grew up from 6 or 7 years old. I see it out in the world sometimes. The man of the family sitting at the dinner table with all the kids, and grandma and grandpa are there, and he's just, has the big belly that's usually like a safe, keeping my, sacral area safe. So it's usually a big belly, kind of hunched over like this. And all I can see is their inner child just has a stick with string on it. He's just swinging his feet, and all he wants to do is go fishing. And he's still mad Because mom made me eat my Brussels sprouts, and I just wanted to go fishing, and then I had to go to college, and then nobody taught me how to do anything, and I just have to go make money now, and I don't wanna. And he doesn't feel safe enough to cry, nor does he feel safe enough to express his emotions, his anger. And so all that rage, untapped, unconscious, was gifted to you. Was gifted to you. And so you have to choose whether to harness it or unleash it. And we know the unleashed. We know the narcissistic, violently angry men in the world. And that's gone unconscious for a long time. And there's so much of what I can't even let my human avatar see or experience within the world, but the amount of kidnappings and rape and brazen death, and we're going to get into a little bit of the child sex trafficking and the pedophilia that's going on right now, because it's out on the public stage. I know that there's a movie out in theaters right now that talks about it. It's very accessible. So if you don't really know what's happening and what's going on, it is because you are actively choosing not to see it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And for the men, the divine masculine men, for you, processing attraction to a younger woman is necessary. Palavras certas. That's a Portuguese phrase that means right words. Whenever you say something, or somebody says something to you and then you stub your toe, or a car alarm goes off or something, noise is made, that's God, right words. Yes. You just have to look at it. You just have to look at it and say, wow, this is part of the collective consciousness that is getting purged right now. That's not mine. Maybe at a certain time when I watched pornography, I was like, whoa, this is kind of like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? Why am I watching this? And it's like, that's not always yours to heal. For your, that's not, let me rephrase, that's not always yours that has happened to you in your own physical human body and avatar, but because you've chosen to awaken first and tap into the collective consciousness, your soul told the God of your understanding, I will just look at this. I will just look at it. That's literally all you have to do to clear it. It's the same way when you're a kiddo and you're hiding under the covers, and you're like, there's a ghost in the closet. There's a ghost in the closet. And you just live in this fear, and you live in your, I can't get up. And then one day, you get up, and you walk over to that closet, and you face them, you turn on the lights, and it's just like your clothes. And the whole thing just immediately like, what was I so worried about? It's the same thing with processing the collective consciousness and these bigger issues. The father with a capital F, mother with a capital M wounds. We're just looking at it, just acknowledging it, and then not participating where it feels icky. Where it feels icky. And finding a way to express to your father in a healthy way. And you can use words like, this made me angry and I was pissed off. And saying things like, I really wish that you had taught me how to deal with my anger. I really wish that you had given me tools to learn how to not explode on people. Because now I'm an adult and I'm learning all these foundational tools by myself, and it feels very lonely and I'm very scared. And I really wish that you had taken any time to look at yourself. But he was either too scared of his like wife that he really doesn't love, that's in her masculine, that's telling him what to do and just fucking being assertive and not in her feminine and not feeling safe, and like she's dealing with her own issues and stuff like that, and like they probably don't even want to be together anymore, but you know, it's, you don't get divorced at that time. But if like you really fucking hate each other, that's absurd. Everyone around you is picking up on that. I'm a very big advocate for like separating in love. Romanticize the endings of relationships so that you can find your 10 out of 10, but that's an aside for another day. Now let's go over to the divine feminine. And I'm just going to preface again, this is going to be gross. I just feel it. My whole being is shaking and it's just not comfy to do this, but I got to get this out for you. Literally as the trash truck goes by. I think that's funny. So we've touched upon pedophilia, and we've touched upon the divine masculine just needing to look at the fact that he was attracted to a much younger woman. And maybe that's something that he just needed to look at and to deal with and be like, this is probably really unhealthy. You know, probably really unhealthy. Maybe you watched a video or two of pornography when you used to watch those things that you're like, afterwards, you were like, holy shit, that was gross. That was really gross. I can't even believe I clicked on that, but I unconsciously clicked on it. And now you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? So now for the divine feminine, the father wound, again. Sorry, trash truck's going by, or collecting the trash. We're dealing with some gross shit, so it's kind of on purpose. Yeah, your dad doesn't want to look at the fact that he is somewhat attracted to you. Kind of glad that's going on because that wouldn't have come out otherwise. Yeah, your dad doesn't want to deal with the fact that he was probably somewhat attracted to you, or is attracted to you in an unconscious way, or doesn't know how to really even express his own emotions. And as you process your emotions and you're like, hey, I really feel like maybe I was sexualized at some time, or maybe that like when I was a kid I was very confused and I didn't know what was going on, and he does not have the language to tell you what happened. The fact that he might have just been looking at you and saw your light. And just saw your light and was attracted to it unconsciously. So he's avoided that feeling, that disturbing feeling of, I'm not attracted to my very masculine wife. I don't want to deal with my own mother and how she emasculated me, because now I've created an amalgamation of a wife mommy that I'm with, and now I still hold this seed of like father wound, mother wound, and I'm projecting it onto my little girl. But I don't have the language. I don't know how to talk about my emotions safely. I don't know how to express my anger safely. So I don't feel safe around you. Because I kind of look up to you, and I've done the same thing that my mother did to me, that I'm doing to my wife. I'm now doing the same thing to you. But you have to process all of this stuff. Literally, if you're here with me and you're doing this very deep work, your ancestors are consciously looking down at you from the heaven or the beyond of your understanding in awe. Like in awe. And the unawakened family members in your family line right now are still sleeping and slumbering. Bless them, that's what you contracted. I get it, I did the same thing. I did the same thing. Seriously. My nephew did the same thing. He came in to heal the whole thing. Like, so your family is unconsciously and subconsciously looking at you to do all the fucking dirty work. And they're going to make you feel like shit about it too. Consciously. Which is kind of like the image that I'm getting is a kiddo just getting like poked on the playground, until finally they just say, like, enough is enough. I don't really want to play with you anymore. I'm just going to go over here. Doesn't fight you. Or maybe it's like the kiddo that like learns karate or jujitsu, and that like you try to do something and he's like, and has harnessed his emotions and like has learned some tools. Yeah, it's like that. Like, come at me. Come at me. I've had to look at the fact that my father is attracted to me and not attracted to his wife, and kind of started to date his mother in the wife. Literally nothing can touch me. Literally, that's adorable that you think that you can even rattle this cage, because I'm meditated and moisturized and, you know, cut sugar out of my diet and fluoride. Please, for the love of sweet God, stop drinking the tap water. It's calcifying your pineal gland. Just a thought. Not just a thought. Every single channel that I've done for children, that I've done for the first steps of your awakening, literally the first steps of you stepping into your most powerful self, is removing tap water and having clean, filtered, beautiful, pure water that has not been tampered with, because the water is going to keep getting tampered with. There's a reason that you're being poisoned, because looking at this is so fucked up and demonic. But then you actually have to understand that it's because it is. It's because it is. And we've been manipulated to be a certain way, to be subservient, to mix up our, divine masculine and feminine, mix up our gender, confuse everyone, confuse your hormones, confuse everything about what birth control has done to females, everything about what polyester underwear and the emasculation of the man, of the divine masculine, circumcision, every little bit of your divinity. There is a very negative thing that is trying to control you and keep you suppressed and keep you small. Because a world of empowered men and divine feminine beings, we don't really need powers that be. We have community, and we have support systems, and we have, small bits of local governments that help each other and work together. It's a beautiful new world. We have free energy, clean technology. Everybody's got a horse and buggy and a flying car. It's a beautiful world. And this is incredibly, brazenly not just my language. There are millions of people all over the planet that know and understand this. So it's really, again, if you're here with me and you're new to this, I'm really proud of you. Because at this point in the game, it's late July 2023 as I record this. Oh my God, I just got, there's some people in 2025 that are watching this right now. And thank you for being here. I'm proud of you. No matter where you are or what time or space you're in, you're doing incredible work, and you woke up at just the right time. You didn't make a mistake. It's scary. It's scary. Again, as humans, we've been hiding under the covers because we are that powerful. We're afraid of our own power. We're afraid of our own successes. And one of the best parts of when we heal this is we come into our financial abundance. Because the assertion and the pentacles in the 3D world, your father wound is attached to your money, darling. It's attached to your money. So if you feel as though you've only hit this ceiling, and you really know that you're meant to thrive and prosper, look at your father wound. And look at your inappropriate sexual attractions. And look at your anger and how you utilize that powerful emotion as a tool or a poison. Yeah. My guides are giving me a thumbs up. I've been avoiding doing this channel, you guys. Like, it's so gross. It's so gross. Like, I did a whole video on, past lives tales of sexual trauma. And literally, like, I can see views. I haven't lived in past lives, multidimensional past lives. I was killed many times as a young woman, as a young girl. So to be here now, I'm so proud of my human. Because this is gross work. This is gross work. To channel this information for you. For me too. But to show up is so, so beautiful. It is taking more courage than I've ever experienced. Because in all those past lives, it says, you say this, you're going to get killed. I was a witch burned at the stake. And, it was my close community that had sold me down the river. But I wasn't alone. Not at all. And I've made the mistakes as well. I've made the mistakes as well. In my past lives, I am in no way perfect. But I'm looking at it and I'm really loving up on myself and loving every bit of what I've done. And I'm stepping forward in grace. And I offer that to you as well. I don't care if you've watched porn with, much younger girls and you questioned, like, was this okay to watch? I don't care if you've unleashed your anger on people before and felt so bad about it. Because the person you yelled at learned just as much as you did by yelling. Those souls came together to teach and learn at the same time. And men, you're not attracted to your daughter. You see the light in her, and she came into your life to help you heal, to help you to shine a light back at you, to mirror to you what is still there to heal. By looking at this, you help bring more light to the children that are still within the child sex trafficking, that are still being sold, that are still being abused sexually for adrenochrome. Like, you just looking at your own stuff, your own plate, that helps the whole world. I implore you, please, look at this wound in you. You don't have to start championing. You don't have to go out and see the movie. You don't have to do anything else but look at your own life, your own parents, your own partner, and your own children, and just be honest with yourself, honey. I live on Pleasant Street, and it's a busy street. So. Okay, my guys are saying, wrap it up. if you're interested in astrology, look at your Saturn placement and your Mars placements. And when you look at these wounds, those placements and those houses will start to find more light and more prosperity. I'm sorry. Oh. I got some tissue because I knew I knew it. And I just have been avoiding this one for a bit. But I'm here for the healing. I'm here for the healing, and I'm atoning for everything I've ever done, and I'm accepting and loving upon myself in ways that I was never given that space. I was never given that space to feel as deeply as I feel now, to process as quickly or as often and as quickly as I process now. It's beyond a blessing. I'll leave you with this. I was chatting with a coworker of mine last night who's a very powerful light worker and teacher in this world and writer, a very, very gifted Gemini. And I won't share her full story, but basically there was a conversation with a man that she had known before she stepped into her full divinity that is now very afraid of how powerful and how womanly and how deeply she processes and feels and stands up for herself, and she's just an incredible, incredible being. And we were experiencing just buckets of deja vu respectively last night, and there was a moment where, and I've never seen this before, I've seen myself get burned at the stake, and I saw my chin was up and my head was high, and I just knew, kind of like in Hocus Pocus, like, we'll be back. Not to eat children, but to heal and help heal and save the children. But she was there with me. We were getting burned together, and we were just so strong and so trusting in God, and just knew it was going to be okie dokie. We knew it would be okie dokie. We knew that this needed to happen for the development of the planet, for the whole, for everybody. So if a version of me can get burned at the stake, and all I have to do in this life is just look at some gross shit and process it and talk about it openly, I'm so fucking blessed. We are so fucking blessed. I really appreciate you for being here, and please, my email address is always listed below if you would like to share how you're feeling about this or book a private session. My business is open and I have availability all over, so please reach out and we can set up a session that's safe and right for you. Or if you feel comfortable and courageous, please comment below and let the community know how you're feeling. Or please share this video with someone that you feel might benefit from it. Because these words and vibrations are not meant for just me. This is for the collective. This is for all of us. And we chose to go first. So having hard chats are hard. None of this is easy, but I promise you it's worth it. It's very healing just to get it out. Okay. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I see you, and I honor you, and I respect you, and I am beyond grateful for you. And I'm just, all of this I do to free myself, yes, but it's for you, so that you know you're not alone. And you know that there's someone across time and space who's gone through similar things and has similar pains. And what you went through was not for nothing. I love you.